Welcome to I'ma Talk About It. I'm Alicia E., empowerment coach and ancestral healer, and I'm here to teach you how to break generational cycles, self-advocate, and ascend to happiness without the guilt of wanting a better life for yourself. You don't have to choose the same path as those before you. You can choose a better way, your way. Because if we can each heal ourselves today, we can heal the world tomorrow together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about unleashing your fire and embodying cosmic motherfucking boundaries. Okay. It's going to be an amazing conversation. I am super excited about this topic because I was reflecting on all of the times that I've been asked, like, Alicia, how do you do so much all of the time? Like, how much energy do you have? I don't understand. Like, how do you always show up so powerful? I could never do anything that you do. I also get a funny one like, you seem taller than you are. And then they look at me and I'm like, thanks, I know I'm short. But I'm like, it's my energetic height. The truth is, I ignite my inner fire and let it out. Right? That is how I'm able to show up so consistently every single day and fight for what I want, have my boundaries, ask for money, demand for money, help people, and create social change every time that I put myself into the world, right? But I can't do that unless I have boundaries. But most importantly, cosmic boundaries. I'm calling this cosmic boundaries because I want to, but I feel like it also embodies and encompasses everything that I'm going to be explaining to you that doesn't really fall under physical boundaries. So I want to also let you know for this episode, and it's also the reason why I created this, that you can expand like a motherfucker if you start embodying cosmic boundaries so you can unleash your fire that I know for a fact is waiting inside of you to be ignited. It is always there. It has always been there. We just need to wake it up, right? We just don't know how to do that yet. Maybe you're on that journey, right? Or maybe you're about to light it and you feel like you might be a little bit stuck. And we're going to talk about how you can embody cosmic boundaries so that you can unleash that fire that is just waiting there to be tapped into. So again, cosmic boundaries are anything that's not a physical boundary, right? So let's start with a few. I have 4 of them. I have mental boundaries, spiritual boundaries, energetic boundaries, and emotional boundaries. So first, mental boundaries. Mental boundaries are, working on your own story, right? Doing the work, as people like to say. It's allowing yourself the space to think differently and to think about all of the great things you do, right? Celebrating yourself, to appreciate your capabilities, and not allow yourself to believe the stories the mind likes to make up all of the time, right? So this is a boundary you can have with your mentality or how you may be thinking about the world around you. So spiritual boundaries. Spiritual boundaries are having a spiritual practice that is ethical, that's non-harmful and rooted in love and groundedness, right? It is a practice without appropriation. So you can even have boundaries with your guides, which is cool. I've got them. I don't talk about it all of the time, but I definitely have them. And as you go on your spiritual journey, I always invite people to have boundaries with their guides, right? Because they were in a physical form once upon a time. Like, it's also good that you commune with them and let them know how you want to receive your messages, right? I've definitely asked to only receive messages from ghosties, as I like to call them, via songs, numbers, signage, outside only. Or maybe through people, like if I meet someone, they're just supposed to walk into my life at this time, whatever it is, they have a message to share. So anyone who shows up physically, like, I will blast them out of the universe. Like, I just That is just a boundary that I have. I don't like physical presence. I'm going on a tangent, but I'm letting you know that you can have a spiritual boundary that includes having a boundary with your guides and how best they can communicate with you on your journey, right? So I mean, aside from songs, numbers, and signage, I also allow like tarot. They can send me messages that way or dreams. That's perfectly fine. Anything else outside of that, I'm not doing it. I'm cleansing, like I'm shooing you away. I'm doing whatever I need to maintain that boundary. So those are some spiritual boundaries. So now let's talk about energetic boundaries. So energetic boundaries can be saying no to things you don't want to do. So remember how I always say, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, right? That is protecting your energy, your time, your essence. You are saying no, but you're also saying yes to yourself and choosing yourself. So that is an energetic boundary. It's also resting when you feel tired and not pushing yourself and not allowing others to also push you or encourage you to push when you have already articulated that you need rest or it is clear you need rest, right? We want to surround ourselves with the right people who respect energetic boundaries. And then there's also energetic boundaries that include crystal work, like having obsidian or having other crystals that help protect you or protect your energy, or selenite that help, cleanse. Anything that help you with crystals that can be included in an wow, my words today again, energetic boundary. You can also have a spell work practice where you do spells for yourself or spells for others, like whatever it is, you can help that way. There's body work. So like I love getting Thai massages. That's one of my favorite things. It also helps with my own energy, allows me to receive and let go of energy. And then there's literal energetic body work, which is what Reikis do, which I am a Reiki practitioner. So I help remove energies or move energies that don't belong in the body or have sat there too long or belong to another entity or from another lifetime. I also channel light during Reiki sessions. So we use light to heal and patch up areas and make sure that this person is okay. We can also spot when things might be wrong in the body. So that is how we use our energetic body work to help with energetic boundaries, right? And essentially, it's all about reclaiming your life. So taking accountability and empowering yourself to decide how your life looks, not allowing the world to decide for you. And then lastly, I have written down emotional boundaries. So allowing your emotions to flow freely as they need to, instead of getting stuck, getting bottled up, creating many other, I would say, maybe holes in your other boundaries, right? If we are not addressing our emotional boundaries, it's likely to affect our energetic boundaries, our spiritual boundaries. It affects everything. And then you can have emotional boundaries even with other people. So it's not just yourself. Are you around people who are constantly emotionally dumping on you? They kind of expect you to solve their problems. And do you willingly allow yourself to subject yourself to them? Or are they just doing it despite what you've told them, right? So it's kind of a give and take. And I don't know if I've talked about this before, but one day I was walking around on the street and I heard this person on the phone talking to another friend about another friend who it sounded like likes to emotionally dump. And I loved that they responded to the person who likes to emotionally dump. It sounds like you need to sit with your journal or talk to someone about it. And then they went on to articulate how this person has been emotionally dumping on them and how they're not very resourceful in coming to a solution and that they weren't going to be the person to provide that solution. So that was a great way for someone to create and maintain an emotional boundary and articulate it so that this other person doesn't just keep crossing a boundary with them. So that is an example of also having an emotional boundary. So what is the cost of not having these cosmic boundaries, right? All of those 4 categories. What is the cost of not having that stuff? So immediately it's poor self-worth, which affects literally every part of your life. I know we talked about self-worth on some of my other episodes, but it can affect your self-esteem. It can affect how you feel about yourself. It can even affect your self-image. It can affect how you love yourself and how you love others, right? So you also will likely have poor boundaries with yourself and with others, and you're likely constantly feeling burnt out because you're allowing things to come and go into your life, drain your energy, and not reserve anything for yourself, which means you also are not receiving opportunities because you let external factors run your life. So there is a portion, which I talked about before, about being active instead of passive when wanting to receive opportunities. So it doesn't mean that you have to go hunt and hunt and hunt. It means you actively need to be open and ready to receive opportunities or commune with people to have opportunities come into your life, which then means you're likely blocking your abundance, right? So you're keeping your fire hidden. So you can unleash that fire, you can unleash that energy or use it for yourself or allow it to transform you if you constantly do not tend to it, right? Like when we don't tend to a fire, we all know this, when we go camping, it goes out. So we have to constantly be working on ourselves in a healthy way so we can live a happier life. And the next kind of stage of like beginning to tend to your fire, your inner fire or your cosmic boundaries is really to begin to embody cosmic boundaries, like really owning who you are, right? So you need to do the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and energetic work daily, not just sometimes, but always, until it becomes a habit. And you know that I mean more than 21 days because I've talked about this before, right? You can do something for 21 days in my opinion, and it still falls off, right? Like school. So you have to practice your craft all of the time, the work on yourself all of the time, right? Like I can be working with someone and there can be a hurdle in their life that pops up all of a sudden, and it throws them for a curveball. And then they've got likely two choices. They can either pause and use the tools that they have to work on it, or they can allow that hurdle to spiral and emotionally spiral them, and then there go all of their boundaries, and then they're exhausted, they're burnt out, they're emotionally fatigued, like all of these things, right? So it's important to consistently be doing the work because every day is so different and every day brings unique opportunities and challenges. So the best way to maintain our happiness is to have consistency within our lives. So we have to be working on ourselves so we can have the time and energy to live the life we want, right? And when I think of embodying cosmic boundaries, I really think about the transformation that I went through while I was in Costa Rica. Like I felt like I was supposed to go there and I was supposed to step into this next stage of cosmic boundaries. And I was constantly going through these phases at this retreat where I felt like I was being tested, with my own boundaries. It was still during a pandemic. It was the first time I was out and about traveling. It was something for myself. I also wanted my partner there, but I also felt like it was a story that I needed to uncover on my own time. And so I felt like I was constantly having to make these decisions. And I know I've talked about this before, but going into the Temescal and whether or not that was for me, if that was a transformation for me, I really had to call on my cosmic boundaries that entire trip, right? That entire trip. It was what I was comfortable with when I was traveling. It was what I was comfortable with sharing when we had our groups. And then, being asked to lead a yoga session, and what I was comfortable with in doing that. There were all these things where I was like being clearly led into another stage of my cosmic boundaries, which I also want to, share, is that there are stages of cosmic boundaries. Like where I was 5 years ago is not the phase that I'm in right now, right? Like I have wildly amazing cosmic boundaries now because it is so embedded into my life, right? And it is an amazing thing because once I began to surrender to allowing these cosmic energies and fully committing to work on them, it was like, I don't even know. It was like better than unleashing my fire because it felt larger than me. Energetically, it was bigger than me. And I felt so connected with the space and the universe around me and so confident in every single decision that I made that I knew that no matter what, I was supported, that I would feel happy, that even if I felt like maybe I had gone astray, it was on purpose, or I'm supposed to learn something, or I have the option to change something and make it better, right? Like we're giving ourselves the option to have a better life. But it's with these cosmic boundaries that allowed me to be able to unleash this energy that has been inside me this whole time, that I mentioned to my sister years and years and years ago, that I felt like I bottled up and it was like roaring, about to come out screaming or something, right? So when I talk about unleashing your fire, and as you continue to embody cosmic boundaries, again, you become like an unstoppable force whose fire fully ignites and it never goes out. And I want to make sure you understand that because I feel like in today's world, most of the people I end up working with or who come across, there's a doubt within themselves, right? Because of everything that's going on socially in the world. Like you don't know if you're going to get sick, you don't know if you're going to lose your job, you don't know if things are going to shut down all of a sudden. So there's a mistrust or a doubt that is lingering in a person's life, in their mind, all of the time because of what we're experiencing externally. But when we begin to turn inwards and reflect on our lives and embody these cosmic boundaries, that fire never goes out. So it doesn't matter if you're in a pandemic or if you're worried about your job, you know that you are always going to be so well taken care of because you have that fire, you have that passion within you, you have that security, you have that trust in yourself, and you have a deep, deep, deep self-love to know that you are always going to be okay, right? So then that fire becomes your momentum to move forward. It becomes your true north, your point north, right? You never have to look for your path because that fire is the path, right? And you'll start to realize that anytime you make a decision and it invokes or calls on your fire, or your fire gets brighter, or your energy gets brighter, and you can feel it within you. I know my spirituals, you know what I'm talking about. You always know that that is the correct direction, right? That is always the correct direction. And it's how you show up consistently and stop putting yourself out of fear and doubt and judgment that allows you to always continue to unleash that fire and to be on that path, on your true north. So unleashing your fire is really when you start following through on your needs and you feel so fucking secure in your decision that if someone tries to cross a boundary again with you, you say, "Did I stutter?" I mean, maybe you don't want to say that, whatever. I mean, I used to have a stutter. It sucked. You can pick whatever phrase you want, but you have that same intensity and accuracy to question them and what they misunderstood or did not understand or are choosing to ignore about the boundary you set with them, right? Like, you have that accuracy and that sharpness that fire has that's like intense. And it doesn't mean that you're mean or anything like that. You just have the fire within you and the capacity to reinforce the cosmic boundaries that you put in place, right? Like a fiery arrow. That's the best way I can explain it. And it becomes a part of who you are, right? You start channeling and feeling all of this fire within you. You're feeling powerful. You're feeling that you can be in this space in this time and not have to worry about everything. You don't have to worry about if your friends are doing yada, 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 like whatever, right? Like you begin to connect with the consciousness of the world, of the universe, of everything around you. And your purpose probably comes into your life around that time. Or what you want to do with your life, or what contribution you want to give usually comes during that time, because you're not worried about all of the other things that used to keep your fire out. Because you've got these cosmic boundaries that allow you to continue to work, right? Like I'm imagining you've got a great security system, you're safe inside your house, and inside your house or your village or wherever you're able to live, you're able to grow, you're able to educate yourself, educate others. So you've got like this house of creativity going on within you that's constantly being fueled by this amazing fire, this warmth, this love, right? That is what we want. That is you unleashing your fire, because it becomes so intense that it has no place else to go other than outside of you, right? You become this beam, this lighthouse. And that's why people tell me, and if you've heard this before, I mentioned it at the beginning, oh, you seem tall. That is your energetic height, your energetic energy coming out from outside of you, right? You have this presence within you that's just outside of you now, and people can feel it. Animals probably gravitate towards you. Ghosts probably gravitate towards you because they know that you're safe, right? And the more you have this energetic light, this unleashing of fire, these cosmic boundaries, the universe starts to align around you and do really cool things for you. People start popping up into your life to help you out, to celebrate you. Opportunities come. You just have to be able to put your cosmic boundaries in place so you can continue to work, right? You're filling your medicine bag. You are helping people. You are working harmoniously with the world around you. People begin to say that you are radiant, you are full of life, and that is fucking embodying cosmic energy and unleashing your fire. It's all about constantly ascending to heights beyond this world and allowing the fire within you to carry you up and transform you into something so fucking powerful and so fucking beautiful. Right? That is why we need cosmic boundaries. So you can be in the space and the energy that you deserve to be in, that we were meant to be in. Not stuck, but unstuck and ascending. And it reminds me of teaching that yoga class in Costa Rica, right? I was so aligned. I had my cosmic boundaries. I was unleashing my fire, and fire is my soul sister. Literally. Me and fire, we're like attached, right? I'm a Sagittarius. I'm also a Leo rising, and I've got an Aquarius moon. So that is just blowing wind all over the fire, right? Me and fire, we talk, we hang out, we're cool. And I was asked to teach yoga on Fire Day. Fire Day, right? That's how we know things are working together in the universe to help you out, right? To be a part of your life, to tell you something. It starts aligning and giving you all of these gifts and opportunities. And when I taught that class in fire, I not in fire, on fire, I didn't have what I usually had, right? Like usually I have my like yoga binder, I do my thing, like I've meditated before, and it was almost like going back to that phase where I talked about in my first episode about free falling and flying all at the same time. It was almost like the universe was like, Alicia, you already have what you need, but you have to let it out, right? And so I said yes to that opportunity. And I also said, I'm going to need like 3 to 5 minutes because I wanted to ground myself. And I allowed myself to just create from that fire. And I taught people during that yoga session how they can connect with their fire, how they can dance with fire. We did a vinyasa flow because vinyasa is all about yang and building fire and heat. So it was the perfect thing to teach during that time. And all of the flow was all about tending to your fire and building fire. We kept building and building and building. And then I saw some people, lay down. But I also told everybody that we practice ahimsa, which is we do not cause harm. So whatever your body is calling you to do, whatever the fire within you is calling you to do it. You don't have to do this flow. You can flow in whatever way you want, right? Because yoga isn't about forcing yourself to do what someone wants you to do. It's your practice. It's about aligning with what you need, which is also a beautiful example of having cosmic boundaries. Because I loved seeing 1 or 2 people doing what they need to do, because that was how they were going to unleash their fire. They were listening to themselves. It was so beautiful and so cool. And at the end, people came up to me and like, wow, I had to lay down because I felt so much power that I just needed a breath. Right? That's so cool. So when you begin to embody your cosmic boundaries and unleash this fire that comes out of you, everyone is going to feel it. And it's not a bad thing. It will overpower some. Who cares, right? It will be just what some people need. Amazing. Whatever it is, as long as you are living in your truth, you will always be able to unleash your fire and maintain your cosmic boundaries. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that now you feel inspired to create cosmic boundaries or to focus on cosmic boundaries. And then begin to unleash your fire and really just let it go. Don't hold back anymore. Holding back does not serve you. And if you have any questions, I want you to tell me. I am always happy to answer them. And as a reminder, my Ascend to Happiness program is starting in a few weeks. So if you are loving everything that you are hearing here, you need to be in this program. It is going to be awesome. I am literally sharing on my podcast a tiny fraction of what you're going to be learning because there's so much information. And it's all going to be about self-advocacy and self-worth and self-love, unleashing your fire, creating cosmic boundaries, and much, much, much more, right? Because it takes practice, and I'm going to be there to help you. And we're going to talk about herbalism and intuitive herbalism, Ayurveda and sleep and spiritual alignment and yoga sessions and how you can tap into your fire, right? It's going to be freaking amazing, and I hope to see you there. Thank you again for showing up for yourself and showing up for me. I hope you found value in this discussion, and I look forward to sharing the rest of the episodes with you. And that is a wrap.
Hey, if you're ready to ascend to happiness and live the life you've always wanted, join me in my Empowered Living Facebook group for socially conscious healers, witches, and spirituals, and sign up to get my free Empowered 5 Practices to Ascended Happiness guide. It's helped others expand their consciousness and soar beyond sight, sound, and imagination in just one day. It's the catalyst you need to embrace your magic and change the world. Just click the link in the show notes, and I'll see you in the group next time.